Hi, I'm Miles Branman, and right behind me here is the 2020 Porsche 911. It's the 8th generation of the iconic sports car. Let's explore. And here it is, in this lovely blue color. And if you don't like that blue color, how about some yellow? Yeah, looks snazzy in both. Now, the first thing you're going to notice about the all-new Porsche 911 is that it doesn't look all that new, and that's because Porsche is known for evolutionary, not revolutionary design language. They don't want to change the shape or large chunks of styling cues on the 911. They want to keep it iconic. They want to keep it recognizable. You see one on the road, you know immediately that is a Porsche 911. So with this new model, they've chiseled it a little bit. It's not as rounded as the old car. You're seeing a little of the new 718 Cayman and 718 Boxster's front end design elements coming up at the nose. New headlights. New accents on the hood. But the whole front fascia is pretty traditional up to this point. I think it looks good. I think it looks better than the 991 generation that debuted in 2011. And we know it's going to drive better. It's on a new platform. It's wider than the 991 generation, but it's not any longer, and I like that. Wider, more stable, but it doesn't grow to be this mammoth thing. It's already a pretty big car, so it didn't need to grow much bigger. This one's riding on 20-inch wheels up front and 21s at the rear. I like these wheel designs. They look very machined. The big Porsche ceramic brakes. This is the S model. There will, of course, be a standard Carrera model. And here's the big news. Well, if you didn't know about this 2020 change that's coming for the 911 as a car, the big news is that all of the gas-powered versions of the 911 are going to be turbocharged. There is no longer going to be a naturally aspirated Porsche 911 that isn't assisted by electric power. So there are going to be hybrid Porsche 911s. That's also a first for them. And those are going to be paired with the standard flat six engine. But the standard models that do not have electric power, assistance, I should say, are going to be twin turbocharged. And we, of course, have already seen a twin turbocharged 911 with the previous 991.2 generation, but not when it was spreading across the whole model variant range, of which there will be 24 model variants. That's a ridiculous number, but they've made it such that there's a 911 for everyone at this point, at least everyone with $100,000 or more to spend. I can talk a little more about the power, because the standard Carrera is going to make 385 horsepower and the Carrera S is going to make 450. And if you've been following along, you know that 450 is the output of the current GTS. So this one is really stepping it up in terms of output, and Porsche is saying even the standard car is going to do 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds. So it will be quick. There, of course, is going to be a Carrera 4 model, meaning all-wheel drive. There's going to be a turbo. There's going to be a Turbo S. There's going to be another GTS. And then those electrically assisted models that I talked about before are going to be called the e-hybrids. There's going to be a Turbo S e-hybrid that will probably be the, for the moment, range-topping 911. And it's going to make something like 600 horsepower with that electric and gas power. Oh, this is actually the 4S model. Sorry, I thought this was just the standard S model. At the back, we notice a couple design differences between the 992 and the 991. There's a full-width retractable rear spoiler here. You can see the outline of that where the panels merge. That deploys, and then on the turbo models, that's going to be a fixed rear wing. New taillight signatures, looking dapper, of course. Of course, the iconic vents over the rear-mounted engine, integrated dual exhaust. I like the rear view on this car, for sure. This new model has a couple bits of cool tech. For one, there's still going to be an analog tachometer front and center. That's the Porsche character trait. But now that is flanked by two large digital screens. And we've seen this on the new Cayenne and the new Panamera, but it's now finding its way into the 911's cabin. And I'll show you the cabin when some of the people inside of it have cleared out. They didn't fire it up for us. I wish they had. They talked in the presentation about the wonderful noises it makes, but then they didn't fire it up, and that was very depressing. You want to hear it. They also had out here all the various generations of the car, of which with this one there are now 8. And they talked about the timelessness of the sports car, which it is, among all the sports cars, probably the most iconic out there. Absolutely beautiful. I wish these guys would wrap up so I could show you the interior and give you a little glimpse. Big ol' 12-inch wide center display as well. Also ported from the new Panamera, new Cayenne. Cool new center stack. Lots of touch controls. Very few physical controls. Oh yeah, clear out, get out of there, guys. Come on, let me see it. Oh, he's jumping in. With great effort. Yeah, the interior is probably where you're seeing the most dramatic changes. On the exterior, as I said, very much evolutionary, not revolutionary. They did say that there's more passenger space in the back of the vehicle. Obviously, it being wider, you're not as on top of each other if you are sitting back there. And if you're sitting back there, I hope you're a child, because you won't have any legs. Ooh, they popped the engine cover. See the 3.0 on there. Standing for the 3.0 flat 6. Not mentioning the TT, being the twin turbocharging that's going on here. And as I said, the S is making 450 horsepower. Pricing, we have no clue at this point. I'm gonna get a better vantage point. Show off the yellow one over here too, because it isn't popular. Why not? Yellow is beautiful. Yellow with the red brake calipers, also a bold move. I love the Porsche Classic wheels. Gorgeous. I think we saw those first on the anniversary edition of the car. And here at the front, you can kind of see where it's sharper at the nose. It's not as rounded like the 991, a little sharper. It actually reminds me, the nose reminds me quite a bit of the 993 and earlier generations of the 911. It's a bit more chiseled, and that does it for me as a 911 purist. I'll hop down, show you the profile. Really odd thought that just came to me. It's looking more and more like the Carrera GT, the supercar that Porsche made in the early 2000s. Just the long and low figure. Obviously, the Carrera GT cropped it right there and then went on to a flat bonnet cover, but interesting that they made something so many years ago and it's now kind of seeing it revive itself. You can also see that the rear diffuser starts cutting in real early back there, right over there. Helps the car look more sculpted. Trying to think what else I can tell you. We don't know too terribly much about it. We know what's going to power it. We know hybrid models are in the works. We do know that, as I mentioned, because they're all going to be turbocharged, that means even the GT3 and the GT2 are going to be turbocharged. And that's going to upset some people because they loved that 9,000 RPM revving 4-liter flat six in the GT3. I loved it. I'm upset. But I'm certain we'll all grow to love the 992 Generation 911. I'm already digging the styling more than the 991. And Porsche also said that I'm hopping over this giant barrier here. They also said that they're not ruling out the concept of a full electric Porsche 911. That would be odd. It would be a very odd experience indeed. Which wheels do we prefer, these or those? I'm thinking those. Also, not sure I would go with as subtle a color as this blue, but it's a fine looking beast indeed. Okay, I really want to show off this interior, but they're still there. Okay, you can see the analog tack and then the digital displays on the left and right side. Oh, look, that sends the spoiler up. It's cool. Look how easily I got distracted. Still want to show you the interior. Look, it's me on the back seat. Okay, finally I'm breaking into this interior. I can show you the seats. Perforated leather. So nice. New center stack design. And thanks to this gentleman's light, we're illuminating all of the dashboard. This right here looks a little aggressive with just the cutoff right here. There's like this lower shelf that runs the width of the dashboard. Not sure how I feel about that. Of course, you have the lap timer up top. And then the car has been running without running. It's just been in its ignition on mode for a long time, so it is very low on battery. It's not even illuminating the displays anymore, so I can't show you those. But we can take a peek at this center stack right here. And the gear selector, so tiny now, but more toggles. Everyone loves more toggles. Suspension adjustments, ride height adjustments, if you have the air suspension, HVAC stuff, all toggles. Toggles are wonderful. And I'll swing on over to the driver's side. I'll just hop in the passenger seat here. At least the displays are kind of still illuminated. Big one over there, big one over here, analog tack. Many a button on the steering wheel. And then your drive mode, this little extended roundy, words are escaping me right now. Back seat. Yeah, they say it's got more room. It's still cramped. Still very much cramped if you are a large adult male. Heck, if you're moderately sized adult male, it's cramped. Things I forgot to mention before as I wrap this up. The Carrera S will only be available with an 8-speed dual clutch automatic transmission. The standard Carrera, however, will still be offered with a 7-speed manual or that 8-speed dual clutch. But that probably means that only the super specialized GT3, apart from the standard base 911, is going to be offered with a manual gearbox. If it's anything like the current generation GT3, it will be a 6-speed manual, not the 7-speed. But I don't know, purists, that's kind of a bummer. You can't get the additional power in the S without giving up a manual. But to Porsche's credit, they're still offering that 7-speed manual, so I'm not going to complain too loudly. All right, that is the 992 2020 model year generation Porsche 911. Thanks for sticking it out. You have a good one.